Hey guys, Troy here, back with another video today. No disclaimers or controversies this time, but I was thinking about it, and all I want to say is I'm just so thankful for you guys. The growth has been amazing, the positive support, the comments, the stuff I get every video. I don't take the time to say it every single time I post, but I just want to put that out there that I appreciate it so much and it motivates me to keep doing videos. So thank you guys so much for all that. But okay, no more touchy-feely stuff. I know what everyone wants to talk about. PSA has halted basically their whole operation with the exception of the $300 Super Express level. You cannot submit any cards to PSA at this time if you're not paying a minimum of $300. And I felt like this was a pretty strong possibility. Even when they raised their prices, the first thing that I already knew happened was the avalanche of stuff that they literally shut down the post office. I think there actually are videos out there, so maybe I'll be able to find one, but literally the local post office near PSA was so overwhelmed with shipments, like they had to shut down. Leaking that price hike coming, probably a mistake, I don't know. That's not what this video is about, but just the amount of cards, and they said it in their letter, that they got more cards in a 3-day period than they got in the previous 3 months combined. And that was the 3 months of this year of 2021. So they were already getting an insane amount of stuff. And a couple people have kind of touched on it, but the $20 mark, $25 mark didn't really seem to slow people down. People were still sending in just as many cards. They were just being slightly more selective about what they were sending in. And I think, the growth of the hobby, all the new product that was coming out was, that ended up being a greater factor than just them raising the prices. And that's why the backlog grew, I think. But I could sit up here and guess about why this happened, or I would have done this if I was in their position, or all these different type of things. But what's most important are, what are our personal takeaways? And I'm a little late with this video, so a lot of people have kind of got what I'll call some of the easier ones out of the way, but we'll just run through them really quickly just in case. The first one is, I think there will be an effect, and people have talked about it. I don't see it being a huge one, but especially in certain cases, already graded cards obviously will go up. I've talked about the value of having graded cards ready to go when someone has a moment, but I think in particular has already, doubled, tripled, quadrupled in importance. Because before, to rewind time, let's just because he's a fan favorite of the channel, we'll bring him up again. For instance, Tyler Hero had a huge bubble moment. If you had one of his nice cards and maybe you didn't feel like it was worth getting graded, especially back then, you could send it in on an express, $75, get it back in maybe a month, and boom, pretty soon after Tyler Hero, Michael Porter Jr., all these players had big moments, there were some graded cards on the way to fulfill the demand. So people could kind of have like that instant reaction, especially with the express service. But now if that were to happen in the next couple months, the only PSA graded cards at least, that are gonna be coming back are the ones that are already there. So this is a totally random name and by no means a prediction at all, but let's just say a guy I like, Josh Green of the Dallas Mavericks. Can't imagine there's too many people grading his cards right now, or at least having sent them in, especially on a express or anything that's coming back soon. Let's say he turns it on for the Mavericks. Hypothetically, at least, him and Luka become the new dynamic duo. If you already have Josh Green cards, you might be one of the few who has access to those. And then, especially in a PSA 10, those prices could be insane. The majority of Josh Green cards just came out anyways, so I don't think there will be, many people in that position, but that's an example of something that I think could happen. But in terms of, maybe like soccer cards, let's just say Jadon Sancho Optic, I mean, yes, there will be a little bit of an impact. I guess hypothetically it would raise the price of the slabs, but just for instance with that card, I have to imagine there's so many at PSA right now. I don't think there'll be this absurd impact where the already PSA graded ones go to the absolute moon. Maybe just to throw a random number out there, like a 10% increase or something. I'm not sure, but a lot of people have talked about that and it needs to at least be mentioned. The second one that a lot of people have talked about, hopefully this will make turnaround times faster. I think it will. I'd hazard a guess that most of the people here watching have at least one card off at PSA right now we are all hoping to get our stuff back soon. And, you know, I think this could be a good step towards that. All right, but increased slab prices, hopefully getting our cards back soon. Almost everyone has talked about that. Let's get into the more nitty-gritty of the stuff, the real impacts I could see happening from this. The first one is probably the most obvious out of the remaining bunch, but my guess would be SGC gets absolutely overwhelmed now. Why SGC for me instead of HGA, or I think it's CSG is the other one? Because I know that SGC, if I'm buying SGC cards, I know that that grade on the top of it means something. With HGA, their stuff looks nice. CSG, their slabs actually don't look that nice, but I know they have some sort of a reputation with comic books and everything. So for me, I would just go with SGC. I wish I could give you some numbers or something to support that, but that's just my feeling, and I think other people will probably go with them too. They put out this big statement talking about the days of the SGC backlog are gone. It's never coming back, and their turnaround times lately have been absolutely, great. And I hope that remains to be the case. It'll be very interesting to see, because I think they're going to absolutely avalanche with cards. But a lot of people have made the point, and it's true. I think that this could potentially change the grading landscape, and one of those companies could really rise up and gain a lot of market value. Who it is, we'll have to see. If I had to guess though, I would say SGC. And I think there's a potential that once people get used to buying SGC cards and submitting through SGC, you could see the value of previously graded ones grow. There is a huge gap between a PSA 10 and an SGC 10. Who knows, maybe that'll change. The next one is, I think we could see a pretty sharp dip in raw prices in the short term. When I'm bidding on auctions on eBay, my feeling is that a lot of the people who are buying these raw cards are buying them with the purpose of getting them graded. I've bought things like, Donruss, Michael Porter Jr. rookies, and even like some of the 2006 World Cup stuff. I would think that a lot of people who are buying those, they're not just like, oh, I want to collect these, or I just want to have these and then I'm going to sell them again raw. I would feel like with these certain type of cards, so much of that attention is for people who are buying them because they think they can make a profit, because they can send them to PSA for what was like $12, and then they'll make a profit when they get back. So I would not be surprised if some of this lower end stuff, I'm talking about cards that are $30 or less, or maybe even the high end stuff, because it's going to cost you $300 if you want to get it in any kind of slab. I don't know, I could see that, being a potential opportunity. And I'm not sure I'm gonna jump on that, because I don't wanna just be sitting on a ton of raw stuff, waiting for PSA to open back up. Yes, you can send it to SGC or other companies, but just a thought I have, and something maybe we could see happening. It'll be interesting to follow and see what the real impacts are. Lastly, I'll just kind of give my overall thoughts. I think it probably is a good decision. I'm never someone to tell people, oh, you shouldn't submit this or you shouldn't submit that. But for some reason, it did kind of bother me when I was seeing the cards being submitted to PSA. And it's just stuff that, I don't know, I don't think we really need slabbed up. And when I see people sending in Trae Young mosaic inserts and then they come back, and just because there's a 10 on the top, all of a sudden it's worth over $100. I think there's something to be said, honestly, for the junk slab era. I see a lot of stuff, and $100 is a lot of money if we really take a step back. I mean, we've kind of been, I don't know if spoiled is the word, but just accustomed to absurd prices. $100 is a lot to spend on a card. So when I see all these cards, and just because they're in a slab, they're automatically worth over $100. I don't know, that just never really made sense to me. So it'll be very interesting to see. I think the grading landscape could change. Another company could start getting more attention, but also, I've said for a while, I think maybe the way we think about grading and what it really means for the hobby could change as well. But once again, those are kind of just my quick reactions. That's just my perspective. I'm curious, what do you guys think? Comment down below. What are your takeaways? Are any of your strategies going to change? I don't think there's too much that's going to change for me. I think I'll probably be pretty hesitant to buy raw cards now. But I don't know. I still feel like if I find a deal out there, or there's a certain card I want, I'll probably still pick it up raw. So once again, this is kind of a live reaction. I'm figuring it out on the fly, and I'm sure you guys are too. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and comment down below, and we're gonna keep the videos coming. Thanks again.